What's up YouTube, Alvaro here. Welcome to the Bilingual Stock Market channel again. You guys already know this channel. This is the YouTube channel in which we talk about the markets in English and Spanish so you guys can pick your preferred language. And in this video, and as I do it Mondays through Thursdays, I want to go over the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, which are the most important indices of the United States stock market. And I also want to break down from a technical standpoint the three stocks, well, two stocks and one cryptocurrency that will be on the top of my watch list for tomorrow's trading session. So let's get started. And the markets did okay today, guys. Dow Jones went up 0.93%, S&P 500 up 0.82%, the Russell 2000 pretty much broke even today, up 0.0024%, and the Nasdaq 100 ended up pulling up a green day up 0.82%. So other than higher multiple stocks, which got absolutely decimated today, the markets did okay, all right? Okay, the S&P 500. So what happened today in the S&P 500? Here we can see on the 1-day 1-minute chart that the S&P 500 pulled up this morning right at the opening, and the bulls were rejected at 41.73. Right after having been rejected at that level, the S&P 500 pulled back, and take a look at the level in which the bulls found support at this morning, guys, 41.47. And if you recall, I said in yesterday's video that the most important level of support that I was going to be looking at in today's trading session was 41.40. So I was pretty much in the ballpark. And I am going to pull up here the 4-hour chart. Let me zoom in here. So what could potentially happen tomorrow? Because the S&P 500 pretty much closed at 4,200. So tomorrow, the most important level of support that I am going to be looking at is going to be 41.80, all right? What was resistance now is going to act as a support, and remember that 41.80 already acted as a support for the bulls in the S&P 500 in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 opportunities before, but it also acted as a resistance back on April 16th, all right? So if tomorrow we happen to pull back right at the opening, the most important level of support, or the first most important level of support to look at, is going to be 41.80. Or if the bears can take on 41.80 and take this index down further than 41.80, then the next important level of support to take a look at and monitor is going to be 41.40. And in the case of the Nasdaq 100, the Nasdaq 100 closed today at 13,613 points. And take a look here on the 4-hour chart, guys, how the bulls are holding the 180 SMA on this chart like clockwork at around 13,400 points. So I am going to zoom in here, and what levels of support I am going to be looking at tomorrow? Well, the most important level of support for the bulls in this index is going to be 13,400 points, precisely the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, and to the upside as overhead resistance, we have to pay a close attention to 13,700 points. If 13,400 points happens to be broken to the downside, then the next important level of support that I am going to be looking at is going to be 13,300 points. That's a level that's a price or a level or an area that already acted as a resistance for the bulls in the Nasdaq 100 in 1, 2, and 3 opportunities before. So we are talking about a former resistance that should provide a good support for the bulls if visited tomorrow, right? And the first stock of this video is going to be good old DraftKings. DraftKings went down today 7.64%, and it closed today's trading session at $51.89. Keep in mind, guys, that DraftKings is reporting earnings tomorrow pre-market, and listen up. 6 months ago, okay, on its second to last earnings report, DraftKings sold off 12% after having reported those earnings. And in last January, after having reported earnings, DraftKings pulled up 24%. So we can make the case that tomorrow we have two possible scenarios. To the upside, 24%, which is very unlikely, taking into account that the average reaction during this earnings season has been to the downside, or a 12% drop, all right? So Taking as a reference DraftKings today's closing price at $51.89, we can make the case that if tomorrow DraftKings happens to drop 12% as it did 6 months ago, DraftKings could potentially pay a visit to $45.71, right? And as a coincidence, this price, $45.60 or $46, is a previous area of support for DraftKings that acted as such back on December 8th of last year, right? However, on the flip side, if DraftKings happens to gain 24% tomorrow, after having reported earnings, which, as I said before, is very but very unlikely, then we could make the case that DraftKings could pull up to $66.70 or $67. That would be pretty much a 24% run up for DraftKings. And $67 is a previous area of resistance that the bulls of DraftKings couldn't take on back on April 6th. And there is an important technical aspect that is worth pointing out. Take a look at the RSI of DraftKings, guys. It is at 30 points. So it is already very low. DraftKings is, as of now, trading into oversold territory. So if tomorrow we happen to see this stock pulling back, the fact that the RSI is already very low is going to increase the likelihood for the bulls of DraftKings to find support at $45 or $46-ish. So let's see what happens tomorrow with DraftKings after having reported earnings. And now let's talk about Bitcoin, guys. And I want to talk about Bitcoin once again in this video. And before breaking it down from a technical standpoint, something funny, quite funny, happened this morning. You guys know Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, and he said like 3 or 4 years ago, he defined Bitcoin. He was asked about Bitcoin and he defined Bitcoin as trash. That was the word that Mr. Jamie Dimon used in order to define Bitcoin. However, this morning he was asked once again about Bitcoin and he said that Bitcoin was a $2 trillion market cap asset that has to be regulated. So Bitcoin is no longer trash, right, Mr. Dimon? Okay. Interesting, fair enough, but I'm telling you, bro, buckle up because you haven't seen anything yet. Okay, when it comes to the technicals, so we can still see a very beautiful uptrend channel on the 4-hour chart, and you guys know that Bitcoin broke this uptrend channel like that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the bulls of Bitcoin happened to found support at $47,100. Then Bitcoin bounced back up and it got into this uptrend channel once again. So what's my plan when it comes to Bitcoin, guys? I am a long-term investor in Bitcoin. This is an asset that I am not selling probably for the rest of my life. So I have 3 possible entry prices in order to keep on loading the boat on Bitcoin. The first price that I am going to be purchasing Bitcoin at is going to be $53,139. This is an area that already acted as a support for the bulls of Bitcoin in 1, 2, 3, and 4 opportunities before. And the next price that I am going to be buying Bitcoin at, if I happen to see that price, obviously is going to be $50,572. This is a previous area of support that acted as such in 1 and 2 opportunities before, but it also acted as a resistance back on February 25th. And lastly, and this, I think that this is wishful thinking, guys, to be honest, $47,100 is going to be also, in my opinion, and remember that I am not a financial advisor, loading the boat territory for Bitcoin because it already acted as a support in 1, 2, and 3 opportunities before. So those are my 3 prices in order to keep on loading the boat on Bitcoin. But as I said before, guys, I see Bitcoin getting to all-time high at $65,520 rather than visiting these prices anytime soon. Actually, Mercado Libre, which is a Latin American company, invested $8 million in Bitcoin last week, I think, and I think that over time we will see nothing but more and more companies getting into Bitcoin, so this is going to be a rocket ride most likely. And the last stock of this video, Palantir. Palantir went down today 5.01% and it closed today's trading session at $20.09. And on the 4-hour chart, guys, we have a very ugly looking chart, you guys can tell, a clear downtrend, and Palantir is trading below the moving averages on the 4-hour, the 180 and the 50 SMA. And on top of that, guys, Palantir just broke a very important and critical level of support at $21 each. However, and let me zoom in here on the 4-hour, tomorrow we could see, or in the upcoming days, we could see, or we could potentially see an angel cross unfolding. An angel cross would unfold if the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart crosses above the 180 SMA, and this would be a bullish pattern that would suggest a change of trend in the case of Palantir. The RSI of Palantir is at 22 points, very but very low, and I'm thinking, guys, I think that worst case scenario, Palantir could drop down to $18.38. $18.38 is a previous area of support that acted as such for the bulls of Palantir in 1, 2, and 3 opportunities before back in mid-November of last year. So I don't see Palantir dropping below this price, $18.50 or $18. So if tomorrow I happen to see Palantir visiting $18, I am going to be loading the boat for sure. I am going to be purchasing probably 200 shares of this stock, and if I purchase those shares, my price target in order to close this trade is going to be the support that I just told you about, the very important support that Palantir broke at $21. So if I can take this trade the way that I am describing it, I am going to be locking a profit of approximately 15%. This would be a beautiful trade, all right? So let's see what happens tomorrow with Palantir, guys. I am going to be, this stock is definitely going to be on the very top of my watch list for tomorrow, and I am going to be buying Palantir for sure, guys, at $18 or $18.50, and let's see what happens with the angel cross. Okay, let's see if this bullish pattern happens to be completed tomorrow or in the upcoming days. And with Palantir, I am going to wrap up the video. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for hanging out with me once again. Remember that we are posting these videos breaking down the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 103 stocks for the next trading session Mondays through Thursdays. So if you want to get the notifications of our videos in a timely manner, you'd better be subscribed to the channel, and you also need to activate the notification bell right up there. And remember that this is the Bilingual Stock Market channel, the YouTube channel in which we talk about the markets, but we do it in Spanish and English, so you guys can pick your preferred language. But most importantly, this is the YouTube channel in which we know that the wonderful world of Wall Street is not for geniuses, it is for entrepreneurs just like you guys and myself. My name is Alvaro, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Remember, we post videos on Sundays as well. See you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Peace out.